All three Republican candidates for Secretary of State say ensuring election integrity would be a focus if they're elected. Phil Mcgreen is currently the Ada County clerk and says he would implement more training and continue to focus on cybersecurity.
4 years ago, I started the Idaho Elections Conference to bring everyone together from all 44 counties to learn together, to do professional development, and I think we need to continue to build on that.
Mcgreen points to his record as Ada County clerk and the ways Ada County has increased accessibility while maintaining security, especially with early voting.
When someone goes to an early voting location, we'll ask them for their ID and we can just scan the barcode right on the back of their driver's license, looking them up. And when we do that and we check them in, it communicates it out instantly to all the other early voting locations.
Mcgreen says ballots are printed on the spot during early voting, removing the possibility of ballot tampering. Dorothy Moon is currently a representative in the state legislature. She says election integrity is one of the biggest concerns she hears.
As long as we tighten up some of these smaller issues, then we won't have a big issue in Idaho. And then everyone won't have doubt that our elections are fair.
Moon introduced legislation during this year's session to change Idaho election laws. The first draft of her bill would have done away with same-day voter registration, but that part was scrapped after pushback from lawmakers. The final version of the bill, which ultimately passed the House, would make changes to the voter ID laws, removing a student ID as a valid ID, adding a proof of citizenship requirement, and removing affidavit ballots. Under current law, if a voter doesn't have their ID with them when they go to vote, they can sign an affidavit before casting their vote. The bill did not get a hearing in the Senate, and critics of these bills say the changes would make it more difficult for many Idahoans to vote. But Moon disagrees.
It's just common sense that you would have an ID when you go and vote. It would be common sense that you prove that you live where you live. It would be common sense that you have to be a U.S. Idaho citizen to vote in an election.
Mary Souza is a current state senator and says she would focus on ballot security by requiring a consistent voter ID system across types of voting.
But making sure that everyone that is a registered voter has a type of photo ID that proves their citizenship, proves their residence, and proves their ID.
Souza introduced a bill during the 2022 session to make these changes. It would have also done away with ballot drop boxes, phased out affidavits, and required anyone who votes with a signed affidavit instead of an ID to come back and prove citizenship before their ballot can be counted. That would be before affidavits are phased out.
In the voter ID bill that I proposed this last session, it offered a free state ID card to anyone who could not afford the $25 to buy the state ID card.
The bill would also require voters to vote in person for their first election in Idaho. Additionally, the county clerk's office would have to go to the home of any voters who register but can't vote in person because of disability. This is to verify the voter's ID and collect their ballot. Some expressed concern about these changes, though, and the estimated $16,000 Souza says it would cost to provide free IDs for those who can't afford them. The bill did not make it out of committee. You can find more information about the candidates and everything you need to know ahead of the May 17th primary on our website, idahonews6.com. Anna Azalian, Idaho News 6.